Yep. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learned about working with APIs. How do we deal with API? And we learned one example of weather API. So, in two-way binding, two-way data binding, we discussed about how to collect the data from the form and how to use the data. We will use it with a complete front-end, back-end application also. Yesterday we learnt the actual way of data binding, how React does, and it's a lengthy process where every element requires an on-change event to write. And we learnt how to create one weather API, which will get the weather of city and shows. So this is yesterday example we learned. And this example is using a simple open weather API and accessing the data of any particular city weather. So you have to register an API key and you can use the queries for fetching the data. I showed you the process how to do this. You tried it. So you got registered with the API keys. So it's a very common in applications. These days, every application shows the weather of their particular city, which we designed yesterday with a simple data binding concept. Here some more concepts we need to learn. So yesterday what we designed is two concepts, one simple form and displaying the data. Now we can add lot of functionalities here. Yesterday what we learned is user can enter the city, any city, so and click on search. It will get the details and show the data. That means it is going to get the details and display the details. So user search for a city, it shows the detail like this. Now in this, to display colors, effects, formats, to change icons. Suppose if it is mist, I want one icon. If it is Delhi, if it is like mist or Mumbai, and if it is like smoke, I want a different one. That means we must able to change the appearance also. We are getting the weather report and showing, but we need to change the appearance. So along with events, we need to understand two more concepts. Today we will see along with event these two also. Today we are going to see how to handle, we call the concept as a class binding and style binding. Style binding, we will see how to handle style binding in React. It's a simple concept, but we need to understand to modify the appearance dynamically. What is a style binding is nothing but style binding allows you to change the appearance of any element dynamically. That means you see, for example, you are designing a form and if the form is having a valid information, then it shows green. If it is having invalid information, it shows red. That means it changes the color according to the requirement, according to the situation. Generally, how we do this style binding in our JavaScript is, in JavaScript, how do we do that? How we apply styles to any element is, actually in JavaScript, we use the technique of document get element by ID some button. For that, we need to use an property called style. In JavaScript, dynamically to apply styles to any element, we use style. Style will use the style properties, style attributes. Style attributes like, suppose I want background color. Background color, we need to use the style attribute. And equal to whatever the value you want, you have to apply. Actually, originally, this background color, in a CSS, it is present background color like this. But as property, when you use in JavaScript or in React, we have to use in camel case background color. We have to use in camel case, no hyphens. Camel case means, suppose we want to apply text align. Actually, CSS is text align. But when we dynamically apply, we have to use text align. We need to write in camel case. You know that this is camel case. That means starts with lowercase and have an uppercase letter and other is lower. This generally, this technique we use in JavaScript to apply the styles. Now in React, how do we do that? Let's see. So style binding is nothing but, so it is a technique of configuring inline styles for HTML, you can say JSX elements. Configuring inline styles for JSX elements dynamically. It is a technique of configuring inline styles for JSX elements dynamically. So how we implement this, we will see one example here. A simple point actually. Styles in JSX are defined by using style property. So it is an object type with the key and value reference. Key is a style attribute defined in camel case. Defined in camel case. And value is always a string. That means how you define the style. Suppose we are having a heading. Now for this heading, we want to apply some styles. Inline, we want to write the style. Generally, in a general HTML, what we do is directly we write the style is equal to some color as red, like that. This is general in HTML. How do you write? That means this is syntax of HTML. Style, color, red. So background color is yellow something. And border as 1 pixel, solid, some black. Like this, we usually write the style. But now in JSX, how to write this is, in JSX, even for a heading, we have to write style like an dynamic expression. We have to write the style dynamic expression. You need to write dynamic. In this dynamic, it is an object. We need to put a binding expression. In that binding expression, it is an object. In that object, we need a key. What is it? Color. And value is red. And we have comma, not semicolon. We have background color. It is in camel case and it is yellow. We have border, so that is 1 pixel solid black. This is how we need to write styles in React. You cannot directly write style, color red, background color yellow, just how you written in your HTML. Here in React, inline styles are defined dynamically like this. We have to use a binding expression. In that binding expression, styles are written like a JavaScript object. And every style have a key and value. Key is camel case keyword property name. Value is a string. Any value you give, width, height, or colors, everything should be a string type. If you miss any of this, then it is not going to work. So when you write the styles, we need to define this. For example, I want to apply some style for any element. Let's say here, we want to apply the style for this area. For this area, we want to apply some style. Then usually we will go to that area. Actually, that is a div where we are displaying the data. Already it is using some class. Otherwise, it looks normal like this. It will be in this way. We are displaying some data here. And we entered some city name and such. It is going to display. We want to apply some styles. Inline we want to apply. Then we write as what? Style. And you cannot write in a double quote just like how you done in HTML. You have to define a dynamic expression. In that we need to configure an object. In that object, key and values. What is the key? Suppose I want margin top. That is in camel case. And value in string. Margin top 50 pixel. That means it will apply margin top some 50. I am writing another comma. We have like box shadow. And the value is 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 2 pixel and black. That is the box shadow. It is applied with the shadow. We have a padding, comma. Next one is padding. Padding is 20 pixel. That means we have to define the padding. And we given a border as 1 pixel solid and black. And that is the border applied for that. And we have text align. Text align. Camel case, it is like center. That's how we configure the styles. Now, generally in HTML, you directly write them with the CSS syntax. But in React, we cannot do that. In React, the inline styles must be written in the same format. So the styles are configured. The styles are configured according to this technique. By using this technique, we define the styles and we apply the styles. Here, one more concept is there, means how we change the styles dynamically. This is the technique we applied. This is the technique we are applying, right? So I will give an example here. Same example, we added the styles here, that is weather dot what JSX. Now let's see how we can change the styles dynamically. Dynamically means here what we want is we need here the appearance of this box to change a little bit. So what we want is okay, this is mist. Another one is what? We are having Hyderabad. Okay, it is also mist. And we have like Chennai. And this is also mist. Mumbai is what? Smoke. Huh? Yeah. So we have suppose two colors to apply. So mist one color, smoke another color we want. To the box, when it is mist, a different color should come in the background of box, and when it is smoke, a different color should come. That means now how you change the background color dynamically according to the situation. That's what actually style binding. Style binding means binding the styles to any element and allowing to change the styles according to the situation. We can change the style according to situation. For example, how you put different colors depending on the value. Actually, this smoke, this I converted to uppercase. Actually, they are in lowercase. Huh? So here we will do one simple technique we will implement here. See, we are creating a constant, and this constant is having a BG style. BG style, set BG style. We are using set BG style is use equal to use state. Now here, actually this box is fine. Already for this box we are applying some styles. Only the background color depends on situation. If background color depends on situation, BG style is just a string. BG style is just a string. Now what we have to do is, so we need to write a simple condition here. What is the condition? Actually weather description is this. That means we typed Delhi. The weather description is mist. Weather description is, what else it is having? Smoke, mist, smoke, clear. So many options are there. Simple technique is, we will write here, this is the binding expression. You see now, to this box we need to apply a background color. How do we apply a background color? We are using background color. Initially directly we will apply, later we will take it from separate object. That means here we don't need this as of now, later we can apply that. Directly I will show first. What we want to do is, here we need to apply the background color. So what is the property? Background color. Okay, what is the background color? The background color depends on a condition. Here I am using this backtick. You know backtick is a JavaScript expression, right? JavaScript data binding expression. In this we are writing a condition. that is a dynamic expression of JavaScript. Here we put a condition in a parenthesis, ternary operator. What is the condition? So whether data dot, what is it? Whether in weather data there is weather of 0 dot what description, if it is equal to what? Mist. If it is equal to mist, if the condition is satisfied, question mark, and we will put some value. If it is satisfied, we will put some value. What is the background color? Suppose I given the background color as some blue, something like this I'm adding. So we can say light cyan. Okay, that is the color. Question mark. Otherwise, the color should be what? I will put another. If it is smoke, then we will use some blue in the background, or we can add a code hash. So this is red value, green value, and blue value. Blue value I will use 44. That is the blue value, light color. And you can see that it is going to apply the color there. Whatever the color I applied here, so the foreground color we will change. What is the foreground color for the text? Foreground color is not given. That I will add normally. The foreground color is color is which one? White. The foreground color is white. It will display like this. You see now, I entered some Delhi, then it will display the color like this, mist. We can change the text color also depending on that. Now I am just using another one. Suppose Mumbai is smoke, then the background color is different. Can we change background image? We can change background image. I don't want the color depending on that image. Suppose it is cloudy image. Is it raining image? We want to put in the background. So usually, suppose let's say, so here we are searching for images like mist and smoke. So in the mist and smoke images, we are using like this. We can copy these images. We can put the images here. Suppose I just want the mist image, and you see that is the image we are having. And we want this image in the background. We want that image in the background. We can set the image in the background, save image as. Suppose I have a mist image. We are saving in our project folder. Where is the project folder? eDriver. This is React demo app. Our project is in demo React app. It is in D drive. Demo React app is in our D drive. Demo React app in that which location? Public. I'm adding this mist image there. That is the background image we are having. Okay. Next, another one is smoke. Smoke is another image. So we will keep some smoke image relatively. Okay. So that is the smoke image we are having. Save image. Oh, it is not a JPG file. So save image. Yeah, smoke. These are the images we are having. Now let's apply these images in the background. What do you say? How do we set them? Instead of, in the logic, instead of using the background image, so here we have to use what? Instead of using background color, we have to use what? Background image. Background image. Background image is expecting an URL. We have to set a background image URL. So it requires a condition or to define the URL. Actually, here you see, I'm applying the color. First, I will copy this to you. This is changing the color. Change color dynamically. This is. Let's see change image. Dynamically how you change image. So I will remove this background color. Okay. Now what we need to do? We need to apply, what is it? Background image. Background image actually it uses an URL. Background image uses an URL. Actually background image is an URL now. It's an URL. So here you say URL. Directly URL, what is the path you define here? Suppose I am giving the path as mist.what? JPG. So you see the background image is not there because URL is not a function. How do you write the URL then? You write like a string URL. URL is having a file. What is it? Mist.what? JPG. I'm using mist.jpg, that will come. Now how do we change this according to image? We need to change this image now. We need to change this image. That means suppose I am using a backtick here. In the backtick, URL is the property. This image will change dynamically. So here we need a binding expression. What is it? Weather data dot what? Weather of 0. What is it? Dot what? Description is matching with what? Is matching with what? Mist. It is matching with mist. This is the condition we have. So this is the condition we have. Then question mark. What is the value? Value is what? Mist.jpg. Otherwise, what is the value? Smoke dot what? JPG. That means it is changing the image for that. Default it have a smoke. Suppose I entered Delhi, it is mist, then different image. Suppose I am using Mumbai, Mumbai is smoke, then it will be different. We are changing the background image dynamically according to the situation. That means the background image changes. You know background how to set. Background size, background attachment, we can control that. Dynamically binding the styles. Dynamically changing the styles. According to the situation, we can change. So we can write here, suppose I written like so Hyderabad, and when I say search, it will get the different style and show. Later we can add multiple conditions in logic also. Directly I am showing you first style binding. That means how to write inline styles in React. How to change the styles dynamically according to the situation. This is one technique. Directly what I done in the style itself, we used a binding expression here. We are verifying what is the weather data. If weather is missed, then put one image, otherwise put another image. Here in React, make sure that all images are in only public folder. If you put in any another folder, they don't work. All static resources must be in which folder? Public. And you don't need a path. You just need a reference of image name. You don't need to write public / you just need image name. It can directly access the image and use the image. So this is very commonly seen concept. Background attachment and all we know. Suppose I want the background to display perfectly, then you know the technique, na? We can use an option. What is it? Background size. Background size. What we can do? Cover. That means it will fit that in the background. To the box, it will fit the image. So we are searching here for different and the background will fit correctly. So Mumbai, and you can see the background will fit correctly. We want the background to fit correctly, then you can apply other background styles and you can define. I just changed only background image dynamically. We can change everything. We can change foreground, we can change background, we can apply different effects. This is called style binding. Not only here, later in validations also we use very much. Validation means when we learn forms, if password is valid, show in green color. If it is invalid, show in red color. Dynamically we can change. We'll see such logics when we implement the forms concept. Here I showed you 2 points. How to simply directly write the styles, how to change the style dynamically. Let's see another example now. I will copy this. Let me keep this example also. This is changing image. We are changing the colors and changing the images dynamically by using the concept of what? Style bind. And there is another concept also. What is the concept is, once you know style binding, if there are many styles to apply, then you already learned a concept called, class binding. This already I discussed. Class binding means what? If there are many styles to apply, usually already, you don't write every style. We can put all the styles under one class name. We can access the class and we can apply. You learned CSS selectors. We have ID selector, class selector, type selectors and all. If there are many styles to apply, then you can simply apply using class. Already some CSS classes are written. You just want to apply them. Then you don't need style binding. You need the concept of what? Class. So what is class binding is nothing but, so it is a technique. It is a technique of binding CSS classes to JSX elements. It is a technique of binding CSS classes to JSX elements. So a CSS class comprises of set of styles defined by using a class name. You can apply the class dynamically to JSX you can say to JSX elements using class name property. You can apply the class dynamically to JSX elements using class name property. By using class name property, we can change dynamically. Class binding already I showed you syntactically we want to apply any class of CSS, just we have to use class name and we can define the CSS class name. We can apply the CSS class name. We can dynamically apply the CSS class names according to situation. That means the class names can change according to situation. If it is valid one class, if it is valid another class, we can change dynamically. Dynamically changing requires a binding expression. That means what we do. So we simply have class name and we can use a binding expression. We can write the conditions, and if condition true, what is the class? If condition false, what is the class? You can dynamically apply the class like this. Classes also we can change dynamically, just like how we changed the styles. We can directly define here, or we can use a separate appearance also. Let's see one example. So how do we change the classes? Dynamically changing classes also very important, because every time we don't write the styles inline. We already written some classes, we just apply those classes. We don't directly write them every time. You learned in HTML, styles can be defined inline. It can be defined embedded in a page. It can be defined from external style sheets. And if you want to reuse across various, then you can put classes and we can define. Let's see how to apply the classes. How we can bind the classes and use them. Let's see one example for that. Suppose already we are having Bootstrap. Bootstrap is already defined here. That means in our project Bootstrap is enabled. Already Bootstrap have some classes. We can write our own classes or Bootstrap have classes. Let's see one example for that. I will create a new component here. Class binding. Okay, let's add class binding.jsx and create a component, export function class binding. And in this class binding, we have to return a simple div and a container fluid. Here we are designing a form. We are creating a simple div. In the div, we are creating a form. Here I will add a deflex justify content center. In the form, just roughly, we have a class bi person fill. Just a design we are creating. User login. And just data list data term username. So input type is text. And password. And input type is password. We will add form control, that is the class. Already these class names we are applying. Form control is the class and we have a button. So button is login, btn and btn some dark w100. Okay. Now we will make this in the startup. So class binding is in the startup. So the form looks like this. This is a form we are having. Now what I want here is margin top 4. That's the form we are having. I want a different appearance for the form to change dynamically. according to the situation or my requirement, this form appearance should change. For example, see, what we want is for this form, we want to apply some theme. Here I will use a div. Input type is checkbox. Checkbox. You learned about checkbox and label. So we say dark theme. Okay. That's a checkbox we are having. For checkbox, we have form check input. And this is the checkbox. To make it better, I will make this as form switch. That will change the checkbox into a switch style. This is a bootstrap checkbox. Huh? You learned this in bootstrap, how to create checkboxes like this. That's a very basic. In these days design, checkboxes are shown like a switch. By using form switch, I kept this as a checkbox as a switch style. Now what is the point is, when I turn on dark, it should change entire form to dark theme. When I turn off, then it should be normal. So I need to change the complete appearance of the form by using some set of classes. Some CSS classes are there, we need to apply. Let's see here. We will create, first we will create a constant form. We say theme, set theme, okay. And use state, default theme is it is having border. It is having border 1, border 2. It is having padding 4, and it is having, that's enough. This is the default theme. Huh? Default theme is it is having border 2, padding 4, rounded. These are the classes it is having. Now let's apply these classes to the form. That means to the form I am applying the class. Class is dynamically coming from where? It is coming from theme. That means by default form will appear like this. Form is having a border. Form is having some padding. Form is rounded. It is default theme. When I turn on the checkbox, automatically theme should change. Then what we have to do? We need to write a logic on this checkbox. So we have to write a function. How to write the event function? Function is handle theme change. Okay. Now here we will use event argument. I need to check whether the checkbox is checked or not. How to check checkbox is checked or not? This theme change will work when user is changing the checkbox. Here we need which event? On change. What is it? Handle theme change. How we verify checkbox is checked or not? We have to use if e dot target dot what? Checked. By default it refers to true. If it is true, then we will set theme with new effects. What are the effects we want to apply? So we will apply border. We will apply border 2, padding 4, rounded. These are common. We will apply BG color, BG as dark, text as what? White. That is the theme. Otherwise, what we need to do is set theme, just border and border 2, padding 4, and what? Rounded. These are the effects we need to apply. And you see now, I selected the checkbox here. Then it is going to change the theme. I turn off the checkbox, then it is normal. That means we can change the complete appearance dynamically. This time I am not writing the styles. I am not changing the style. I am changing the class. In the previous example, I changed the style. I written a background style, background color. I'm changing the style. This time I'm not changing the style. I'm changing the class. Because generally when many style attributes are required, we don't need to write them. We can just apply by storing under a class name. This is just only one example. In future, everywhere we will use it. This is not done. This is just a basic example. We are going to implement this mechanism everywhere in our examples in future. So how do we dynamically change the appearance of any element? We can do. Actually here, I am changing the form style, but button also should change. When it is dark theme, button should be light. When it is light, button should be dark. We want button class also to change according to situation. Then we can do one more. We can define constant. This is BTN theme, and set BTN theme is equal to use state. Default is BTN dark and W100. That is the default. And we will apply that class here. That means we need to define BTN theme. That is the default theme applied to it. Default. It should change when it is checked. When checkbox is checked, then set theme. We will change not theme, set what? Button theme. Button theme we will give BTN light and W100. Now if it is normal, again set button theme to BTN what? Dark and W100. We can put any color, any effect here. That means now you can see the button also changes accordingly. When you turned on, suppose I will change, instead of button warning, I will give, then it changes accordingly. Dark theme and light theme, it is changing the appearance dynamically. We can change the effects of any element dynamically by using this. We can bind styles and we can bind the classes. Class binding, another one is style bind. These are very important everywhere, because even to design a simple form, we need this style and class binding. Because you say username required, password length should be 10 characters. If it is correct, green. If it is wrong, red. It should change dynamically. That is possible by using style and class binding. So we are applying here. I will copy this and we are applying this. This is another example of what? Class. So we have two important options. One is style binding, another one class binding. Now once you know this, we can implement in our examples. Let's see our events examples. As I already discussed about events, we will first see about here mouse event binding. In React, how to handle the mouse event binding. Actually, these events JavaScript teaches you. In JavaScript, you will learn about different types of events. Mouse events, keyboard events, button events, clipboard events and all. Actually, anywhere in React technologies, nobody teaches events. Nobody will teach you. If you watch any YouTube channels, React.js, websites, React.js, they will not teach you how to use mouse events, keyboard events, button events, because they are very silly things and they are used with JavaScript only. Every JavaScript person knows how to handle different events. Nobody in React will teach you about events, because whatever JavaScript events you have used, same you have to apply in React. Same examples. But I will give one overview of every category of events, because we know your faces. By seeing your faces, we can tell that you are not very perfect in your JavaScript, right? We by faces itself we can understand, right? You don't need to tell. That means because when we deliver a topic, your face itself tells what you are. So what your capacity is. That's the reason we need to explain these detailedly, because at beginner level, you can't manage React applications if you are not perfect in JavaScript events. So nobody teaches JavaScript events, but I'm just giving a simple overview to make you understand how to use those examples in React. Because in React, all JavaScript events used as it is. In JavaScript, you learned events. What events you learned? On click, on change, on blur. But there are categories of events. If you learned all the categories, very good. You can simply implement those examples here as this. But I will show one example so that you can understand how to use those examples here. Let's see. Mouse events, actually we have on mouse over, on mouse out, on mouse down, on mouse up, on mouse move. These are all mouse events. Generally in JavaScript, the mouse events are these. In React also same. But actually in React, these are synthetic events. We discussed that all React events are derived from which base? Synthetic events base. In JavaScript, as it is, you will use here how to use them. We will see that how to use these events: mouse over, mouse down, mouse up, mouse move, like events. Let's see one example. Suppose mouse over, mouse out, how we can handle. We can do lot of animations also. Animations, effects, everything we can control. Let's see first one basic example. In real world, how do we implement? Then we will go to little complex. Let's see. First point is, generally where you see these events is in real time. So for example, we are having a Flipkart. In Flipkart, you can see this is mobiles. I selected some mobile, and you can see this is Flipkart mobile. Left side, you can see the image thumbnails are there. When I move the mouse onto the thumbnail, the preview comes right side. I don't need to click, just move the mouse onto it, automatically the image changes. So what is this event? Mouse over. That is the mouse over event. On mouse over, it can change image. It can do some functionality. You don't need to click. Let's see how to design this. That means how this usually works. Right? For this, we need some images. Let's see how to use the mouse events. We need some images. Let me copy some images. So we have some images. Okay, you see some images are there, M1, M2, M3. Some images are available M1, M2, M3. You copy all the images. I'm just taking three of them. Okay, let's keep them in our project. Demo React app public. I kept these images. M1, M2, M3, these are JPG images. We have JPG images. Okay. Let's create a simple JSON file. We'll create one JSON file. I will go to public and add a new file. mobiles, mobiles.json. Here I am creating an array of objects. In that I am using one property img src, that is image source. And in this we will keep first image is m1.jpg. Second, I will copy, and this is m2.jpg, and we have m3.jpg. So we are having three images here. M1, M2, M3, three images are kept in a JSON file. We have an array of images. Actually, it is an array of what? Array of object. Every object have a property called image source. Okay, let's use this and implement. I will go to components. I will add mouse demo. Okay, I'm adding mouse demo.jsx, export function mouse demo, and return a simple div class container fluid, and here we have a nav. I will just take a div. In this class we have row. In these two columns we will take class as call 2 or 1 is enough, and another class is call 11. So we need to distribute among 12, and I will keep this in the startup. What is it? Mouse demo. And mouse demo is currently empty. Nothing is there. It is empty. Now what we need to do is, in left panel on those images thumbnails, then what we have to do, we have to first create constant. I will put here mobiles. We will put images. Set images is equal to use state. I'm expecting an array of objects. I'm expecting an array of object, and every object have what? Image img underscore src. It is what type? String type. Okay. Now what we will do here is we will write use effect. At the time of mounting, what should happen? So at the time of mounting the component, we need to get the images from JSON file. How do we get the images from JSON file? Axios dot what? Get. Get from which location? Mobiles. Mobiles dot what? JSON dot what? Then if it is successful, what is it? Response. That response set images response dot what? Data. Whatever data coming from there, it will set that. That means all the images are stored inside this images now. We need to display those images left side. Here I am using a binding expression. Images is an array. We will use what? Map. We will read every image. For every image, I will keep a div. For every image, I am keeping a div. And you know that it needs a key. Am I right? Key is image. And inside that, I will keep an img. This img width is suppose 100 or 50. Height also 50. I'm just giving the image height width small. And what is the source? Image source must be coming from image.img src. That means all the images, thumbnails are here. And we want the div to have a class name as margin top, as margin y as 4. That means some gap will come here. I will use suppose 100 width and height, then little larger will come. That is left side, the preview is there. We are bringing the images and showing them. Now right side, I will keep one image. Right side, I will keep an image. This image, we will keep height as suppose 300 or 400 and width as 300. Okay, we have an image there. I will give here. So this is padding left. Padding left means padding start 4. Some gap will come. Margin top 4, some gap will be there. Now what should happen when I move the mouse onto that? That preview should come here. That means when we move the mouse onto that image source must be applied to here. So we need an event for this image. What is that image? Mouse over. These are thumbnails now. When mouse is over, then what we will do? We will write a function. Okay. This is handle mouse over. Handle mouse over, we will get event argument. How to get the image source? Through event argument we can get the image source. We need to apply another one first here. Constant preview image. Set preview image is equal to use state. By default preview image is some m1.jpg. I will apply this preview image here as source. SRC is using what? The preview image. That means by default this image is present. And when I move the mouse onto them, those images must come. So we have to write here handle mouse over for this image. What is the event? On mouse over. On mouse over, handle mouse over. And that image source is applied to set preview image. Set preview image, it comes from e dot what? Target dot what? SRC. E dot target is nothing but image. That image source, this particular image source is applied here. That means which image mouse is over, that image source is applied as preview image. Then what happens now? I move the mouse, the image will change. That means on mouse over, we are changing the images. We are changing the images. That's a simple technique of defining image. This is mouse over. On mouse over, we are defining a functionality. We are collecting that image source and applying to the preview. We can add a lot of styling now. Suppose you know here, we are accessing the image and displaying. We can do a lot of other things like what? Suppose we will apply, this is column 1. We have a column 1. We will add a CSS file to this page. How to add a CSS file? So for mouse demo, already there is a JSX file. We will add a CSS file. What is it? Mouse demo dot what? CSS. Okay. Here we will write some effects. What is the effects is dot column 1. In column 1, wherever image is present, image. What we will do? We will apply border as 2 pixel solid blue, some gray color border we will apply. Gray color border we are going to apply. That means you can see the images should have, we need to import this CSS now. You have to import the CSS. What is it? Import dot slash, what is it? Mouse demo dot what? CSS. Then it can use that CSS and it can apply the border. I will apply little bit more. That is, I will apply padding also 2 pixel or 5 pixel. Some gap also applied. When I move the mouse onto that image, you see now I'm using dot column 1 image hover. That means when mouse is over, then border I will set as 2 pixels solid, which color? Blue. Not only that, I will change the cursor to what? Grab. Cursor to grab. Grab means it will apply mouse over, it should display that. And what is it? Image hover, colon image hover. So this blue color it is going to apply. That means when mouse is over, you can see a hand symbol and a blue color is shown. That is just to tell that it is highlighted. Currently focus is in that place. Then we can apply those styles and rectify. That's what actually Flipkart is using. That means we don't wait until mouse is clicked. We perform any action just on mouse is over. When mouse over, you can define some actions to perform. And this is one example of actually mouse over. Here they are using the same technique. So displaying the details and showing the preview when mouse is over. That is implemented here. We are implementing that here. So this is one basic example of how to handle mouse over. One example of mouse over. So we have a mouse over option, and mouse over indicates what action to perform when mouse pointer is over. In this example, what we are doing, just collecting the image, its source, and we are displaying that image. So example, I hope everyone understood. So what we are doing, we are having a collection of images. We are accessing the images and displaying in the left panel as thumbnails. And when mouse is over the image, we will collect that image source and we will apply to target image. We'll apply to the target image. This we can control by using this. So in this example, first you have to go to add a new JSON file in a public folder, and that JSON file is mobiles.what.json, and this is mobiles JSON. And you need one more, add component files. We need that is mouse demo.css. Mouse demo.css, this is the code. I just added the code for mouse. And another one is mouse demo.what.jsx. Mouse demo.jsx, this is JSX. I will copy this. This is an example of mouse. How to handle the mouse events. This is just mouse over. Actually on mouse over, we can control lot of animations. Lot of animations, effects can be controlled by using this technique. For example, another detailed example I will show you. These all that, remember, these are all not React. These are general JavaScript mouse event. In JavaScript also you design like this one. Only the point is in JavaScript, you have to write lengthy logic for generating every item. But here it is very simple. We just use a map and we design. Same example is created in JavaScript, but it is little lengthy there. Here it is short. Very simple to design because we need to just bind on mouse over, get the event arguments and display them. Animations also we can control because if you learned HTML, CSS, you learned CSS keyframes, CSS animations. how to create animations in CSS. We can control them on mouse over. For example, basic I will show you, detailed example later we'll see. See, suppose I am creating a component here. Let's add a component, mouse animation. Okay. Mouse animation, animation.css and mouse animation.jsx. So export function mouse animation I am defining, and we have a return div. Okay, class container fluid. Now see here, what we are doing is, in this div, I'm just adding some styling. Mouse animation I will keep in the startup. So mouse animation we are importing, and mouse animation.css we have to link here. Import, what is it? / mouse animation dot what? CSS. See, actually in our public folder, you remembered when you created your React project first time and executed, you saw a React logo revolving that we can design. We can control the animation of that logo. For example, you see they have a logo 912 PNG, 192 PNG. I will apply that here. Let's see. Image source is, what is it? Logo 192 dot what? PNG. And actually logo 192 PNG is, this is the logo. That is the logo you see usually in the beginning, na? So what I will do here, deflex, justify content center, align items center, align items center, okay, and style. Style I will give height as 100 VH, then it will keep it center. And what we will do is, I will give here BG dark, then it is background dark. And I want this logo rotating. We want the logo rotating. Usually, how do we do that? If we want the logo rotating, this logo will have a class name as React logo. React logo is the class name. How to write animations? You learned in CSS we have what? Keyframes. In CSS we have keyframes. Keyframe name is spin, is the keyframe name. And from, what is the basic is rotate, transform, rotate 0 degree to transform, rotate 360 degree. Now I want to apply this spin to our React logo. React logo should use animation name. Animation name is what? Spin. Animation duration. Duration is little slow. 2 seconds. I am using 2 seconds animation duration. Animation iteration count. Animation iteration count is infinite. Okay. Now you can see that the React logo rotates like this. I want a linear rotation. So I will use animation timing function as linear. Then it will rotate linearly like this. So we are creating a simple animation here. The timing we need to control for this. We will put as 5 seconds. Then it will slowly rotate. Now what should happen is when I move the mouse, this is general CSS animations. In CSS, we create animations by using this technique, keyframes. When I move the mouse onto it, it should increase the speed. When I move the mouse outside, it should decrease the speed. That means the animation speed, rotation speed should depend on mouse over. That means when I move the mouse onto it, it should rotate fast. And I bring it back, then it should rotate normal. Then how you control this? That means how we can apply the effects dynamically to this. That means on mouse over, we need to change this attribute. What is this attribute? Duration. Animation duration we need to change. Animation related all effects we can control. We can control all effects, but I want to define certain effect. We will rewrite all the logic. It requires logic to write. Simple first point is actually we have to write a function. So first here, constant. So this is animation speed I'm using. Okay, set animation speed. And what is it? Use state. It is using an object actually. Object, why? Because inline styles are applied dynamically na. So what is the option here? Animation name. So here we have styles. What is the style? Animation. We have animation. Animation, what? Animation, yeah. Animation, we have like what? Duration. Animation duration. How much we want? Suppose animation duration is how much? We need to apply some default is how many seconds? 5 seconds. We need to write all the effects. I'm just writing temporarily one because I will implement in next level. We will see that. Now this should be applied for this logo. Then how do we apply style? Style uses what? Object. Object is what? Animation. Animation duration. Animation duration, we can directly get a value here. So as of now, suppose animation speed, I will just use one simple value. It is a string. How many seconds? 5 seconds I am giving. Animation duration is 5 seconds. Speed is 5 seconds. So animation duration, it is taking the value from, it is getting the value from animation speed. Am I right? Animation speed is a timing na 5 seconds it is there. That means by default you can see it gets the 5 seconds. Suppose I change it to 1 second. Now see the animation speed increases. I keep it 5 seconds, then it will be slow. Now what should happen? I need to change the speed on mouse over na. Simple. What we have to do? Function handle what? Mouse over. What we need to do is on mouse over, set animation speed to how much? 1 second. 1 second I will set. 1 second I will set. That means image, what should happen on mouse over? On mouse over, handle mouse over, animation speed is this. On mouse out, function handle mouse out. Okay, handle mouse out. Mouse out, what should happen? Set animation speed to how many seconds again? 5 seconds. That means here we need to write one more event. What is it? On mouse out. When mouse is over, it is 1 second. Mouse out, 5 seconds. Handle mouse out. And you see now, when I move the mouse onto it, it's fast. When I move the mouse outside, it will be again slow. That means we can control the animation speed. On mouse over and mouse out, we can control that. I just added only one option. What is it? I added only animation speed. We can zoom, we can rotate, we can tilt. So many CSS animations we can do. This is all CSS animations. That's the reason you cannot call yourself as a React developer if you are not perfect in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, because in real-time projects we need them. Suppose you designed a weather API. I want rain and I need to show the rain animation, fastly pouring rain. If it is less, then it should be slow. That means how you control this animation. You are a React developer. That means you need to be good in your user interface design. Right? That means you need to know animations, effects, how to control them in styles. These are very important. Here we are controlling this by using a simple basic mouse over action. I'm using mouse over. We can use mouse down, mouse up also. Mouse down means what? When I hold down the button, it will increase the speed. I release the button, it will decrease. Instead of mouse over, we can use mouse down and mouse up. That means here just you change the event name. Instead of mouse over, what you do? Mouse what? Down. Here instead of mouse out, you have to use what? Mouse up. Mouse down, mouse up. See what happens now? When I move the mouse, nothing will happen. Hold down the button, then it increases the speed. I release the button, then it will stop. Until I hold down, the speed will increase. I release, then it will stop. It will stop. I'm just adding only one effect. We can add lot. That means we can add several effects. Several effects means that depends on your keyframes. From transform, and we have, transform and scale is there na? Scale 1, suppose we given as scale 3, then usually what happens is, you see, zoom also works for it. Rotating and zooming both are working. That means we are rotating and we are zooming that image. I'm adding multiple effects for that. And when mouse over, then you can increase the speed of this. You can increase the speed. On mouse down, then it will decrease. That means it should stop that and it will use it. These are all effects. We can add multiple effects into this. I am just adding these effects on mouse over. I will copy this. This is another example for which one? Mouse. Mouse animation. And in this mouse animation, I will copy this. CSS is important. So mouse animation dot what? CSS. And mouse animation dot what? JS. These examples I will copy. You can try them. These are related to mouse events. Now similarly, we have keyboard events, button events, different categories of events. Some more examples we will see on mouse events tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay.